Today, Jeffrey Restuccio, author of Get Fit Through Gardening, discusses how to reduce back strain, muscle soreness, and calluses on your hands utilizing proper gardening techniques. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeffrey Restuccio.
Good morning. Everybody can hear me. Well, welcome to the Flower and Garden Festival. I think it's great would bring someone like me to come and discuss the most unique topic. Gardening is exercise, exercising is gardening. A lot of people ask me, how did I come up with this idea? This is actually my second book. It's called Get Fit Through Gardening, and I'll be signing copies later on today after my presentation. It's my second book. My first book came out 16 years ago. So I've been talking about this topic for 16 years ago. A lot of people ask me, how did you come up with this idea? And it really kind of evolved. I was at home a lot with my small children. Couldn't go to the gym. I like working out. I enjoy exercise. And I found that using organic methods, which inherently is more physical, you're loading up compost and going to the stables and hauling horse manure for the garden. A lot of people are looking at you saying, why don't you just go to the store and buy fertilizer? But I enjoy the physical aspect of really exercising, working the soil. I call it now exercising in the garden. And again, also throughout that period of time, I was involved in martial arts. So I became a first-degree black belt in martial arts. So a lot of the techniques you'll see me use today, you'll say to yourself, you know, that looks almost like Tai Chi, you know, or something that you would see in a martial arts class. And it is. And I think that you're going to find that for the people here that are avid gardeners, at the very minimum, following just a little bit of what I'm going to tell you today will help you to reduce back strain and muscle soreness, and even reduce the calluses on your hand. Our main goal today is to protect our back. Every motion has something in it so that you keep your back straight. You don't want to hurt yourself while gardening. But then taking it further, another group that I also like to talk to is people that want to add more exercise. They want to be physically fit. They want to adopt what I call fitness lifestyle. This is, to me, the best and the most integrated and comprehensive fitness lifestyle anybody can adopt, whether you're 3 years old or 30 or 103. This is something that everyone can be involved with. What we're doing is we're growing things. Anything, it doesn't matter. And again, what we're going to be doing is we garden to exercise, we exercise to garden. The last group I wrote the book for is just people that are truly sedentary. And while it may not be anybody here, I'm sure you all know an uncle or a cousin, or maybe even the children are on the couch a little bit too much playing the video games. And this would be, I think, a wonderful way to show them that gardening and exercise can be one activity. This is not your father's garden, and this is not the way your father gardens, or really anybody that you know. Now, yesterday a gentleman bought my book, and he's a landscaper. Now, he's not going to be able to do everything I'm recommending, because he has to be out there exercising in the garden 8 hours a day. But it will tremendously help him to reduce muscle soreness. Also, something I'm going to ask you, notice that I try not to use the word work or chore in the garden. Try this. In the gym, you'll see people, I don't know if anyone works out in a gym here, but in the gym, you'll see people with hand weights, and they lunge. Anyone ever see that? They're lunging in the gym. Now, no one calls that work, but why is it if you lunge in the garden to get the weeds out, that would be considered work? It's exercise. I know some people are kind of grinning, but try it today, this week. I'm going to exercise in the garden. Never call it work again. Now, the key component of my program now today, and what I'm going to tell you today, is I'm not going to tell you how to grow anything but you. I want you to grow. I want you to be stronger. I want you to feel better. I want you to be more flexible. My focus today, and the focus of Get Fit Through Gardening, is not on the plants. It's on you. Think about you first. Now, the good news is you'll enjoy gardening more if you're not sore and hurting. We want to prevent injury. That's why we stretch. We want to prevent injury. That's why we'll enjoy it more. You'll enjoy it more. Now, again, one thing I recommend to everybody very simple, is that we're going to be gardening for shorter periods of time, but more intensely. There's going to be a little intenseness here where we're going to get our aerobic cardio up a little bit more, but I don't want to be gardening for more than maybe 2 hours at a time. I know a lot of people here have to do that, but my recommendation is to try to garden 1 hour, 2 hours, take a break, and come back. That is such a simple thing, but now you're thinking about you. Try to space your gardening out as much as possible. Also, we want to make our gardens smaller, not larger. Again, since this is about you, if you want to be playing golf, if you want to go fishing, if you feel this garden is taking you away from what you really want to do, make it smaller. Make your garden smaller. I've seen some people that use xeriscaping. They have xeriscaping exhibits here that take very little care. But you want to create beds that you would specifically look at them as part of your exercise program. You would exercise them each spring and then maybe again in the fall. So you want to make your garden smaller. Another thing that's very important is a plan or a journal. A lot of people here, if you're avid gardeners, you create maps or diagrams of your garden. And my recommendation is now create a fitness and a gardening journal together. Maybe one side would be your exercise for the day and maybe what you ate. If you're really serious, maybe like a fitness program. And then your gardening program. And the idea is that you say, well, today I'm going to go out and I'm going to specifically set up some beds, and this is what I'm going to eat. And then, like, say if you're on a high-protein diet, you're going to eat, say, egg whites. You take the eggshells, and where do the eggshells go? They go in the compost because they're good for the garden. So now you've created this complete circle of life, what I call lifestyle of fitness and exercise. It's part of your plan. Key concept. We now want to add the aerobic model to gardening. Now, this is something 99% of the people don't do. You just don't think of it. But understand that gardening is work, or it's exercise. It exercises your muscles. Even if you're going to go just mow the lawn, think, mow the lawn, I'm going to stretch. I'm going to stretch before I mow the lawn. So this is something very, very few people do. The aerobic model has these components. First, you want to warm up. You want to warm up the core temperature of your body. That can just be as simple as taking a hot shower. But you can walk around the block. Something I like to do is prune. Or again, I have a lawn aerator, and I use the lawn aerator. This is just a warm-up, very, very simple exercise, not particularly aerobic. But you want to warm up your body. Then you want to start your what I call gardening stretches. Now, these are the same stretches you would use for any whole-body activity. And they don't need to be very extreme, but you want to stretch before you garden for at least, say, 5 minutes. 10 minutes is even better. Stretching is a great thing. I've been doing it now since martial arts for maybe 10, 20 years, and you just have to kind of stay with it every day. So again, you would stretch your shoulders, shake out your hands. Just doing this feels great because you're going to be using your hands and your wrists a lot. Just shake them out. Do that a lot. Okay, and then you want to do what we do, the core muscles. Again, you want to exercise, particularly you want to stretch like the quadriceps, the hamstrings, the Achilles tendon. So again, you can stretch like this is kind of a safer stretch. And do the other leg. Now again, that's a safer stretch than doing touching your toes. Again, if you can touch your toes, it's a good stretch. Again, what you want to do is you go down, you want to breathe out. So when you're stretching, you breathe out. And you go down. But again, you don't want to do anything that'll hurt you. The idea about stretching is you want to do it extremely slow, hold the stretch, and come back. Again, stretches, you'll see people do these a lot in the gym. Again, I'm going to keep my right foot flat here, and I'm going to stretch with my heel up, and I'm pointing my heel up here. And again, I'm stretching my leg, the hamstrings, and the Achilles tendon. So again, you can do hurdle stretches like this. Keep your leg in the middle, in the front, and then the butterflies like this. And you just breathe out. And this really does feel good. Again, you just want to do this just enough to get a little stretch in your legs. Now, if you have trouble getting up and down, again, you can do these inside. And also, you might want to use like a cart, or you can take a fork and you can put it in the ground to help yourself get up. You know, when you're doing some of the techniques I'm going to show you. Or even the lawn aerator, you can punch that in the ground. So you can actually use certain type of structures if you want at first to help yourself up. Again, you can modify the whole program to meet your needs. It's not just one program. You have to do it just one way. That's the beauty of it. No one's keeping score when you get fit through gardening.